UFC 280 Oliveira versus Makhachev takes place in only a matter of hours, and I'm going to go through my last-minute detailed prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. I'm not just saying who I believe is going to win and why. I did that earlier this week. I'm trying to predict what limb will be used for a KO blow, what submission will be achieved, what round that finish will be achieved in, what the scorecards are going to read if we do make it to a decision, and just in general how every single minute of every single round is going to play out. We start straight away with the early prelim opener of Karol Rosa versus Lina Lansberg. I just believe that Karol Rosa is going to have a massive advantage over Lina Lansberg, and to be honest, although a lot of women's fights go to a decision, I can see Karol Rosa getting a TKO to ground and pound here. I think she's going to be so much better than Lina Lansberg in all positions, in the clinch, in the stand-up, that just in general, she's going to outstrike Lina Lansberg on the feet early on in the first round. She might take her down at the end of the first round and start landing some really big shots. She's going to beat her up in the clinch with knees to the body as well. Against the cage, she's going to beat her with elbows and knees to the body as well. Karol Rosa lands more shots on the feet, takes her down again in round 2, and at the end of round 2, I'm going to say that Karol Rosa paws on the ground and pound. Lina Lansberg's already beaten up, and I think Rosa's going to get a TKO by ground and pound at the end of round 2. Moving on. Up the card, Mohammad Mokaev versus Malcolm Gordon. I'm going to go with Mohammad Mokaev getting this one done by first round TKO is what I'm going to go with. I believe Mohammad Mokaev's going to go out there, throw some madness, get Malcolm Gordon nice and jittery. Both guys are going to be swinging. Maybe Malcolm Gordon lands a couple of decent shots and it sort of like says, you know what, Mokaev, maybe it's time to start going to your grappling. He starts going to his grappling against Malcolm Gordon. He starts looking for big shots. He starts landing some big shots of ground and pound. Gordon starts scrambling. Maybe Mokaev goes for a submission attempt. Gordon's still scrambling. He gets back up. He gets taken back down. He gets back up. He gets taken back down. And then Mohammad Mokaev is going to land some big shots on him. And then when Malcolm Gordon is hesitant about being taken down again, Mokaev's going to land like a big uppercut left hook combo, hurt Malcolm Gordon, and finish him off by TKO against the cage. Mohammad Mokaev gets this one done. Moving on. Up the card, Armen Petrosyan versus AJ Dobson. I'm going to be going with Armen Petrosyan by third round TKO is what I'm going to say happens here. I believe that Armen Petrosyan's going to get this one done against the cage with knees and kicks to the body on AJ Dobson. I believe AJ Dobson might win the first round, but Armen Petrosyan is not going to take a lot of damage. They're both going to land some decent shots on the feet early on. Dobson's going to land more punches on the chin, whereas Petrosyan's going to land more shots to the body. Knees to the body as Dobson's trying to take him down. Leg kicks as well at range. Eventually, AJ Dobson will get him down, land some good shots of ground and pound, but Petrosyan will stay safe, work his way back up, keep AJ Dobson hustling for takedowns while landing knees to the body and punches to the head and kicks to the legs when they're at range. Round 2, I think similar situation. Dobson landing some decent punches, but Petrosyan taking them well, landing some big kicks to the body, landing some big kicks to the legs, starting to mix it up high as well. That's when Dobson's going to try shooting again. He gets down Petrosyan, who works back up, gets taken down, works back up, knees to the body, punches to the head, leg kicks at range. Petrosyan's done more damage this round for sure. Dobson's starting to slow down, and I think in the third round, Petrosyan's going to start landing some good stuff on the feet. Dobson's going to start panic takedowning, gassing out a little bit, not able to get his takedown, and Petrosyan's going to start kneeing him to the body against the cage, finish him off with punches, and finish him against the cage by third round TKO. Armen Petrosyan gets this one done. Moving on. Up the card, Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Gadzhi Omargadzhiev. I'm going to go with Gadzhi Omargadzhiev here against Abubakar Nurmagomedov. I believe that Abubakar is going to have a decent first round, but I believe as this fight goes on, we're going to see Gadzhi Omargadzhiev start to turn the tide a little bit on Abubakar, start to have his own moments, start to land some decent shots on the feet. I think he's going to have a big striking advantage early on, and that's going to lead to him investing way more. Abubakar's going to win some control time in the first round, but Gadzhi's not going to get dominated. He's not going to get submitted. He's going to work his way back up against the cage. Round 2 and 3, I think we're going to see a bit of the turn of the tide. The striking that Gadzhiev has done to the legs and maybe to the body of Abubakar Nurmagomedov is going to start to take a bit more effect. We're going to see Nurmagomedov start to slow down with how much control time he's getting and how much he's getting out of the big takedowns that he's going for. And we're going to see Gadzhiev start to scramble, sweep, reverse his way back on top, and really start to win those second and third rounds. by just out-hustling Abubakar because he's landed more investment shots in the early half of the fight. So I'm going to go Gadzhi Omargadzhiev via decision 29-28 based on the last 2 rounds. Moving on. Makhmud Muradov versus Borralho. I'm going to go with Borralho by a first round rear naked choke. I think he gets a finish. I do. I think they're both going to be on the feet. I think Muradov's going to land a couple of decent shots. Borralho's going to be chopping at the legs. Muradov's going to try chopping back. They're both going to be like going sort of tit for tat. Once Borralho starts landing a few leg kicks because he knows Muradov's not going to shoot on him, Muradov's going to start leg kicking back a little bit, trying to get some investment back. And that's when we're going to see Borralho time one of those leg kicks, drive through on the takedown, get Makhmud Muradov down within the first 2 minutes. Muradov's going to scramble. Borralho's going to find his way into a dominant position against a cage, landing some good punches, some knees to the body as well, some good punches to the side of Muradov's head. He's going to take down Muradov again, who's going to try and scramble, but he gives up his back. Body triangle in for Borralho, and I just don't see Makhmud Muradov surviving with Borralho on his back. So I'm going to go with Borralho landing some punches, ending up on his back. Muradov is now on top, but also having his back taken in that type of position. And we're going to see Borralho stinging him with some punches, opening up the rear naked choke and sinking it in for a first round finish via rear naked choke. Moving on up the card, Belal Muhammad versus Sean Brady. I think we're going to see Belal Muhammad storm forward early to try and put the pressure on Sean Brady. I think we're going to see Sean Brady moving around the outside. I think Belal's going to be throwing feints, trying to close the distance. I think randomly out of nowhere in the first round, Brady's going to land some real slick stuff on Belal Muhammad, who's trying to disrespect Sean Brady and push him back and start being a bit of a bully. And I think we're going to see Sean Brady cracking with some big shots. That's going to get Belal's respect. Now it's a bit more tit for tat. We're going to see Brady able to start going forward a bit more. And then we're going to see sort of a change of the tide. Belal's getting the better of the stand-up a little bit in the middle of round 1. And then we're going to see them end up against a cage. Brady's getting backed up, but he gets the clinch on Belal Muhammad. Goes for a takedown, fails it, but pushes Belal Muhammad up against a cage. And that's when he's going to start getting some leg entanglements, going for some outside trips, taking down Belal Muhammad, ending up in side control, landing some elbows. Belal's going to scramble, but Brady will take the back and start working from there with punches, cranking on some rear naked chokes. Brady wins the first round. Belal survives it. Round 2, we're going to see the same situation, but this time Brady's going to shoot, fail it, drive Belal Muhammad against a cage. Belal's going to try landing some punches in that position, but Brady's going to drag him down again, land some more punches of his own. Belal might defend that. They both end up back on the feet, but now Belal's worried about the takedown. Belal might shoot on Sean Brady. Brady stuffs it, lands some punches, lands some knees, uses that to push Belal Muhammad up against the cage again, starts beating him there with little foot stomps and knees to the thigh and stuff like that, takes the back position of Belal Muhammad, kicks out his foot from behind him, drags him down to the canvas. Belal tries to scramble but gives up his back again. Brady's on the back, landing big punches, landing good shots. Belal scrambles. Brady ends up in like full mount. He starts working for an arm triangle, landing some punches in full mount a little bit. You can see he's starting to slow down, but he wins round 2. Round 3, both guys are patient early on. Belal shoots. Brady stuffs it. Belal tries to take the back, but misses it maybe. Sean Brady shoots on Belal. Belal stuffs it. You can see Brady starting to slow down. Halfway point, we see Belal starting to land some decent shots. Brady's still dangerous enough to stop Belal from just swarming him, but we're going to see Belal Muhammad shoot again. Brady stuffs it, but he's starting to get tired. He gets back up though, turns around the clinch, trying to hold Belal against the cage, but Belal separates, starts landing some good shots, but it's too little too late. Sean Brady's won the fight 29-28, Belal winning the 3rd round. Moving on to the main card, Katlyn Chookagian versus Manon Fiorot. I'm going to go with a decision for Manon Fiorot here. I think she's going to win this one via 30-27 decision. I think she's just going to outstrike Katlyn Chookagian every round. I think Chookagian's going to maybe land more. But I think Manon Fiorot's shots are going to get the reactions out of Katlyn Chookagian. I think she's going to hurt Chookagian at the end of round 1 with like a side kick to the body or something like that, or a big shot to the body and then some combinations afterwards. Chookagian's going to survive. And then round 2, we're going to see Chookagian maybe winning some boxing exchanges, but, you know, she's worried about her body a bit more, and Fiorot's digging to the body with shots. And now Fiorot's starting to land some head kicks on Chookagian, who's taken them, and now Fiorot's starting to land some big punches on Chookagian, Chookagian as the second round goes on. So Fiorot wins the second. And by round 3, we're going to see Katlyn Chookagian shooting takedowns, not really getting any control time. Maybe she gets down Fiorot a couple of times, but Fiorot works her way back up, works the body of Chookagian. Chookagian's trying to hold on against the cage, trying to take the back. Fiorot won't let her. She's being very defensively responsible, and she goes back to outstriking Katlyn Chookagian in the third round, landing big shots, landing a couple of shots to the body that get a wince out of Chookagian again, and just outboxing her, cracking her on the chin with some big shots. I think Fiorot wins 30-27. Moving on to Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going to go with Gamrot starts to fight, hacking at the legs of Beneil Dariush. He's destroying the legs of Beneil Dariush early on. Dariush is trying to land some punches. He has a couple of occasions where he charges forward and maybe he lands some glancing blows and Gamrot moves out of the way and, you know, stuffs an offensive takedown from Beneil Dariush. Gamrot starts sort of like teeping at the body and jabbing to the body as Dariush is swinging big shots. Then Gamrot starts chopping at the leg again. We see it start to affect Beneil Dariush a little bit, and that's when we see him start to switch stances a bit, and that's where we see Gamrot shooting for the single leg, hoist it up, lift up Beneil Dariush, make him balance on that leg that he's already been chopping up with calf kicks, drive him into the canvas, start landing some ground and pound, start looking to try and get positional control. Dariush might get full guard back and start looking for an armbar. Gamrot survives, lands some total strikes, works Dariush up against the cage with knees to the body, foot stomps, punches and stuff like that, but Dariush separates and goes for another big barrage at the end of round 1 that Gamrot survives and covers up from. And then we see Gamrot win round 1, and I think as the fight goes on, we're going to see Gamrot keep working those takedowns. Dariush will get back up. Gamrot starts chopping at the legs a bit more. Maybe Dariush lands a big punch at one point as Gamrot's going for one of those calf kicks that's bugging Dariush. And then Gamrot's kind of backs up for a second and Beneil shoots a takedown and tries to use it to get the back, but Gamrot chucks him off and wins a scramble and ends up on top and starts landing some punches there. And as Dariush is getting back up, he's kneeing the thigh of Dariush, punching him to the body, punching him to the head, goes for another takedown, gets it. Dariush back up, goes for another takedown, gets it. Gamrot just taking him down over and over again. Round 3, I think we're going to see Gamrot be very patient, see what Beneil Dariush is going to try and do to him, land some calf kicks, land some big shots as well, keep Beneil Dariush very hesitant. Dariush might get stunned, and then they get a bit scrappy, and Dariush lands back on Gamrot, and Gamrot's on the back foot for a bit, has to recalibrate himself. Dariush shoots, tries to get it. Gamrot wins the scramble again, ends up in side control, takes mount, lands some shots, takes the back, lands some shots. Dariush maybe shakes him off the top, but Gamrot gets back up, shoots another takedown, drives Dariush down to the canvas again, lands more shots. Dariush gets back up. Gamrot's got the back position, kicks out the leg of Dariush, drags him down again. I just think we're going to see a 30-27 grappling clinic and striking mix-up clinic from Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going to go with him 30-27. Moving on. Up the card, Petrosyan versus Sean O'Malley. The fight starts and O'Malley immediately smashes Yan with a leg kick. A heavy leg kick, and it kind of like takes Yan off guard a little bit, and he goes back into his high guard. O'Malley's like popping out jabs with no real conviction, landing teeps to the body, landing some good leg kicks. Yan's going to land a couple of like straight right hands to the body and stuff like that, or just straight punches to the body. O'Malley's going to keep coming forward. Get respect from Yan, start landing some shots that kind of bounce off the guard of Yan, but Yan keeps his guard high, and maybe O'Malley stings him with a big right hand on the face, and Yan kind of like takes it but recovers himself, and O'Malley starts getting excited, going for a wheel kick. Yan sort of defends it, pushes O'Malley away, lands a leg kick of his own on O'Malley, starts ripping the body, lands a jab on O'Malley. O'Malley calibrates himself, lands more good leg kicks in round 1, more teeps to the body. He lands like a spinning back kick to the body of Petrosyan, and Yan kind of takes it and sort of goes, oh, okay, and keeps pressuring forward. Yan's going to be walking down O'Malley for the majority of this fight. He starts looking to land some shots. O'Malley makes him miss, does a little look off into the crowd, trying to mock Yan, trying to make him emotional. And then we're going to see O'Malley start to land some punches. Yan lands in amongst them, and it sort of gets O'Malley's confidence down a little bit. O'Malley maybe throws a front kick. Yan catches it, blasts him with a right hand, lands a body shot on O'Malley against the cage as well, and then sort of rips a leg kick as O'Malley tries to move out. Round 1 done. O'Malley's landed the better shots. He wins round 1 against Petrosyan. We move on to round 2. O'Malley's looking good again. He's chopping the legs. Jan's moving out the way of a lot of them, but O'Malley's chopping the legs. Eventually, Jan moves out the way of one of them and then lands a big body kick on O'Malley as he's like following through with a leg kick that's missed. And then O'Malley's going to keep going to the teeps, start throwing some head kicks that get caught up in the guard of Jan, and Jan's going to start pressuring him down. O'Malley's going to sting him with some punches and move and look real slick. Jan's going to start pressuring him again. O'Malley throws a teep. Jan catches it, tries to trip O'Malley, but he just ends up getting caught up. O'Malley lands a few punches, but now we're in the clinch. Jan lands a couple punches in the clinch against the cage, couple knees to the thigh, couple shots to the body, takes down O'Malley for a second. O'Malley gets back up, but Jan lands a big knee to the body as he gets back up and a couple big punches as well. O'Malley's a bit more on the defensive now. He's taken some big shots from Jan, but he goes back to chopping at the leg. Jan's landing a few more leg kicks. O'Malley's landing leg kicks. O'Malley's still landing punches, but Jan's starting to seem a little bit less phased by them. The power of O'Malley's starting to go down a little bit. O'Malley lands a spinning back kick to the body again. Tries for a head kick, but it gets blocked. He tries for another front kick to the body. Jan catches it, blasts him with a right hand again. O'Malley's on the back foot. He's against the cage. He tries to circle out after Jan misses a 1-2. Jan steps through with another right hand. So he goes 1-2, step through, right hook, and he catches O'Malley on the chin while O'Malley's sort of circling out from the combination, making him miss. And he catches O'Malley. Down goes O'Malley at the very end of round 2 with about a minute left. Jan jumps all over it. O'Malley immediately scrambles, kicks his legs up, tries to go for a triangle, tries to throw some up kicks. Jan pushes past all of that eventually, starts landing some shots on O'Malley to the body, starts stacking the guard, landing some body shots. O'Malley kicks out, rolls over, tucks up against the cage, but Jan's elbowing him as he gets back up, kneeing him to the body, spinning elbowing as O'Malley gets back up, and O'Malley's a little bit bewildered now. Jan steals the second round by knocking down O'Malley. And round 3 is where it's going to get interesting. Don't know what's wrong with me. I'm running out of breath here. I need to learn to breathe in amongst all of this. But round 3, Sean O'Malley teeps to the body. He tries to keep it simple again. Tries to go for some leg kicks. But now Jan's scooting out of the way of him and landing them back on O'Malley. O'Malley's throwing teeps. Jan's catching it, punching him to the body as he catches it, punching him to the head as he catches a front kick. O'Malley tries to spin. Jan closes the distance, gets the back position, drags O'Malley over himself, down onto the cage, down onto the canvas, lands some punches as O'Malley's getting back up. O'Malley covers up, but he's back up again. O'Malley goes back to landing some shots. He maybe lands a really slick right hand down the pipe, tries to follow it up with some feints and some combos, but Jan just tags him back with a massive shot, pushes him back against the cage. O'Malley throws a teep to get some sort of savior from Petrosyan, but Jan catches it, fakes the right hand as he catches the kick. O'Malley's covering up on one leg, trying to sort of anticipate the punch from Jan, and that's when Jan sweeps out the rear leg of O'Malley, gets him in the stacked guard, punches down on top of him against the cage, beats him up real bad, big elbows from Jan. O'Malley goes for an armbar, it's not in, it's too sweaty, it's too bloody from him as well, maybe he gets cut open. Jan takes around the side, pins O'Malley's arm, punches against the cage, and O'Malley's just covering up, referee telling him to move. Jan gets it done by 3rd round TKO is how I see it going, but O'Malley has a good performance. Moving on, up the card, Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw. I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling winning this one by 2nd round submission on TJ Dillashaw. I think TJ is going to be very, very confident early on to go out there and land some shots. I think Aljo's going to start stinging him with some shots, but TJ's going to try and mock him and macho him, and maybe TJ stuffs a couple of takedowns early and scrambles them and ends up back on his feet and chops to the legs of Aljo a couple of times on the feet, but Aljo's going to be teeping him to the body, landing some jabs, landing some straight right hands, throwing some kicks to the arms of TJ over and over again so he can't really get his combos going. And then TJ's going to start landing some decent shots on Aljo, starting to stuff the takedowns, and as Aljo's getting back up, knee him to the body, leg kick him at range a bit more. Aljo's starting to get a little bit bothered, but Aljo's still landing shots. And at one point, TJ's going to come in with a high guard, shimmy his way into range, and Aljo's going to land a lead elbow on TJ, and cut him open where he got cut against Corey Sandhagen. Opens it up. Blood comes pouring out. The round's over. TJ's done more damage, but Aljo cut him open. Whatever. Round 2 occurs. TJ's cut man does a good job, but Aljo starts landing some jabs on him. Opens up the cut again. The blood's trickling into TJ's eyes. Aljo shoots. TJ stuffs it. Finds his way out of it. Ends up back on his feet. Starts landing some shots again on Aljo, but Aljo shoots again. TJ ends up on the ground. As he's getting back up, and this is the important part, as he's getting back up, Aljo's going to jump on the back. He's going to be on there for a little while. Flatten out Dillashaw on the ground, who's going to roll out of it and give up mount. Sterling landing big punches on Dillashaw. Blood's going in Dillashaw's eyes. Dillashaw rolls out of it and tries to stand up from his back being taken. Aljo starts threatening a choke, maybe threatening a Suloev stretch. Dillashaw scrambles, ends up on his feet, on his knees against a cage, getting back up. Aljo's on his back standing, punching away, latches up the rear naked choke. They fall over with each other. Aljo sinking in a choke and gets a rear naked in the second round. Aljo gets it done. Moving on to the main event. Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. I don't mean to disrespect Makhachev, but I think it's going to be a quick one for Oliveira if he's going to win. I think he's going to go out there. First thing I think he's going to throw, jumping front kick to the face against Islam Makhachev. He's going to be very patient, lifting up his lead leg. Boom. Jumping switch front kick to the face. Land it on Makhachev for a second, or land it on like the guard of Makhachev partially. Makhachev's immediately in defense mode. Oliveira coming forward, slips on the inside of like a jab of Makhachev as he comes in, lands a right hand over the top on Makhachev. Hurts him again a little bit. Makhachev circling out. He doesn't like this too much. Oliveira lands a leg kick, a teep to the body. Still moving around, still tracking down Makhachev. He's being very aggressive. They both trade jabs. Oliveira comes in. Makhachev lands a big right hand on Oliveira, but Oliveira takes it. Lands a big right hand back on Makhachev. Hurts him for a little bit. Stuns him with the shot. Makhachev shoots in. Doesn't quite get a good shot. So Oliveira gets the single collar. Lands a big knee to Makhachev's body. And like an elbow as Islam Makhachev backs out of the clinch again. And Makhachev's still on the back foot. Oliveira comes through. Throws a right hand, misses it, but lands a left hook on Makhachev, stuns him a bit. Makhachev shoots in whilst a little bit concussed, and Oliveira adjusts himself, latches up the guillotine, wrenches it, and makes Islam Makhachev go to sleep in the first round. They're going to think Makhachev's okay. He's going to have his hand trying to fight the head of Oliveira, trying to get his head free, trying to get some access, trying to get some sort of alleviation of the pressure. And then suddenly his arm's going to go limp. And Oliveira's going to call it and scream at the ref. And he's going to be out. And Oliveira gets it done. First round guillotine. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.